Thank you for coming, John, to Japan.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Okay. John is my friend, my American friend. John comes from Atlanta to Japan, and I went to John's town, Atlanta, when I quit my CEO title, and we spent about 2 weeks. So I'm very glad to have a conversation for the first time on YouTube channel.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be your first guest.
Okay. I'm very glad. And please introduce yourself a little. Is it possible?
Yeah.
It's okay?
Well, I'm John Hayes. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I lived in Tokyo for a little while during 2014 and 2015.
Okay.
And maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that after.
Okay.
And I have a long career in software. So I suppose you could say I'm a software product creator.
Oh, really? When you come to Japan, where do you work?
I worked at Rakuten. It's a company that many people in Japan know, but maybe not very many people outside of Japan, or maybe not very many Americans know yet.
Yeah. Is it true to talk only English, Rakuten people?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. Actually, yes. This was one reason it was a little easier to come to Japan than I expected. When I wanted to live in Japan, I looked for a job.
Yeah.
And Rakuten, the founder of Rakuten, Mikitani-san, he feels very strongly that Japanese companies should become global companies.
He think about Englishization.
Exactly. So all meetings in Rakuten are held in English. And many people are speaking English in the hallways, and
is it possible for Japanese people to talk in English, or people?
I think most Japanese people have better English than they think.
Oh, really?
Japanese people tend to be very humble, so you don't know how good your English is, but it's always better than my Japanese.
Okay. John, can you speak Japanese a little? No?
Very little.少し喋れる.
But your English is very comfortable for Japanese people, I think so. Your word, you use words, it's very simple word, and it's very easy to listen for me.
Thank
so you are very good. You will be a good English teacher, I think so. If you cannot speak Japanese, I think so.
I want to learn more Japanese, but thank you for the compliment. Many English speakers come to Japan, and the job they get is teaching English.
Yes.
I think maybe my English is a little easier to understand for two reasons.
Oh, really? I want to know. Yeah.
One point is I am from the American South. In the southeastern states, like Georgia, we have a reputation for speaking slowly, even in America.
I think so too. Yeah.
And maybe the second point is I have had a little experience speaking Japanese and English, so I think I can understand the level of English that matches my level of Japanese. So I choose simple words, and I try to speak slowly. And I don't use very many contractions. I don't say can't. I often say cannot. And so forth. So maybe these are some tips. I don't know. I should talk to an English teacher and ask.
Thank you for telling me how to learn not native language. If people want to learn not native language, it is necessary to understand two things, I think so. What you told me. So thank you. Okay, John, you live in Atlanta now?
Yes.
Okay, what are you doing now in Atlanta? You told me a little. Maybe you work as a software engineer and product manager.
I have done many things in my career
Okay.
related to software.
Okay.
I began as a coder, engineer,
Okay.
became a leader and manager, and now part-time I do some project management.
Okay.
That pays my bills. But
I see.
I am most passionate about this idea of a minimum viable company.
MVP company.
MVP
okay.
company.
MVP company. Okay.
So I have created a startup studio.
Okay.
It's a club of programmers and maybe nerds.
Oh, great. Great.
And we are trying to make companies with no investment.
Oh, really?
Only
No
products.
investor?
Yes,
Okay.
no investor. Only build a product,
Okay.
release the product,
Okay.
and see if it becomes famous.
Oh, really?
So far, we are not very successful.
Okay,
But
okay.
it's okay.
But for the first time, why did you decide to write code? When I worked in University of Tokyo, I wrote some code, but my code was terrible. Yeah, so I understood I'm not good at writing code, and I quit software engineer, and I decided to become entrepreneur and CEO. But you write code and you try to product to management. Why did you decide that job?
It came very naturally to me.
Okay.
When I was only 9 years old,
Okay.
my school had one computer lab,
Oh, really?
maybe 15 computers.
15 computer.
And we would get one chance every week to
Okay.
go play on computers.
Okay.
Everyone else in my class played video games on the computers,
okay.
but I was very curious. How does this work?
Okay.
So I pressed buttons. I tried to find out how it worked. I tried to, maybe you could say I tried to break in
Okay.
to the computer. And there was a teacher who saw that I was very interested in the computer from this
Okay.
side. And she made a decision that changed my life.
Really?
She asked me to wait after class. And after everyone left, she went to a cabinet and took a book out. And
Okay.
she said, I want you to read this book.
Okay.
And it was called Programming in AppleSoft Basic.
Apple Software Basic.
Yeah,
Okay,
very
okay.
early basic programming language.
Okay.
I took that book to lunch and I read,
Okay.
and then I went back to those computers and I used what it taught me,
Okay.
and I loved it.
Really?
So I was always curious, and one very special teacher saw that quality.
It's
in
very
me.
lucky
Yes.
for you to
Yes.
meet the teacher.
I
Yeah.
think at that moment my entire life changed.
Okay.
I became a programmer, and today I'm still doing software. If that
Okay.
teacher had not given me that book, who knows where I would be today.
Yeah, you will not become a software engineer.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
See, what's the machine when you wrote 9 years old?
This was called a Apple II.
Apple II.
Yeah,
I
the
love
Apple II.
Apple. Yeah, Apple II. But for the first time, I used personal computer. It's very, very late. Joy is
Really?
older than me.
Yeah.
But when I was 19 years old,
Really?
yes,
Wow.
yes, I hadn't used a mobile phone before 19 years old, so I'm nerd. I'm not nerd.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I have a jealousy to your experience. Yeah,
I think I have the same feeling. This
really?
makes us a good partnership. You
Yeah.
have a great business mind, and I have an
Yes,
engineering
I'm
mind.
salesperson and I'm businessman. Yeah.
We have to find something to do. We have to make a company together.
Okay, thank you. But John, back to the topic. Why do you try to make some projects not investing? Yes, I want to know.
Maybe I thought I could see a shortcut. I'm not like Shota-san. I don't have a business mind, and I
Okay.
don't have many connections
Okay.
with people who are investors.
Okay.
And I'm not very good at presenting myself to other people. I think maybe I'm too nerdy.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but I have many friends who make projects, and they make very interesting applications or video games, AI projects, and so forth. And I think if a project is good,
Okay.
then maybe that's enough to build a company around the project.
Okay.
If people use it, then I think entrepreneurs call that traction, and investors want traction.
Yes. Yes.
So I thought we will come together, and instead of using money and paying engineers,
Okay.
maybe I will tap into engineer passion and
Okay.
help engineers release products that they are excited to build.
Yes. Yes.
And so we build in spare time for fun with hope that maybe users will use the things we release.
Yes.
And maybe 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 50 will catch fire, and the investors will say, let me give you money.
Yeah. Investor love traction.
Yes.
Yes. I love too, but I invest some company in Japan. I think it's very important thing. Engineering and business. It's similar. Car tires. Both things are important. I think so.
Okay.
It is because if we cannot write code, we cannot provide some products on internet. Writing code is very intellectual process, I think so, and it's very difficult for me and for most of the people. But it's necessary to grow. It is necessary to collect some money, and what it is important to solve customers' problem. I think so.
Yeah.
If some writes code, the code cannot improve our life or improve our problems. Our team cannot get money, so it's difficult to continue these projects. I think so.
I think so.
So business and engineering are very important thing. Both
You have to
sides
have
are
both.
important. I think so.
Yeah.
So I want to go to America. I want to go to America and talk with business people and engineering people. Nerd people. I love nerd people.
I think you will be very successful in America.
Yeah. Thank you. And John, I want to know, do you have some entrepreneur friends in Atlanta?
You know, I have a few,
A few,
but
okay?
not many entrepreneur friends. Mostly programmer friends.
Okay. You have many programmer friends. Okay, I want to know, in Japanese programmer and Atlanta programmer, what's the difference?
Oh, interesting question.
Yes, I want to know.
Well, person to person, maybe there is no difference. Maybe the Japanese programmer and the American programmer have the same spirit. I think programming is creative. It's an art in many ways, a scientific art, but a creative process. So I think many programmers are either creative, expressive people, or they found they have some skill and they decided to make a good job out of it. But I find that Japanese programming jobs often use older technology than American. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think maybe perhaps you can tell me if this is right. Maybe in Japan, if it's not broke, you don't fix it.
Yes.
This is an English phrase for stay the same unless you must change.
Yes.
So I think many times a programming job in Japan is built on older technology because the change could cause instability, and maybe Japanese prefer stable.
Yes. For example, old PHP library Japanese programmer use, for example, is it right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And there may be engineers watching who say,
Yeah.
no, you must upgrade because the instability
Yes.
is the old code.
Yes.
Old code, people learn how to exploit, how to hack.
Yeah.
And so you must always upgrade
Yes.
to stay secure.
Yes.
This is one view,
Yeah.
but maybe not everyone needs to make this their priority.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me what's the difference in Japanese programmer.
Only
and
my opinion.
Yeah, so one opinion.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, thank you. And John, when you decided to come to Japan and work in Rakuten, why did you decide to work in Japanese company? I think it's very difficult question. Difficult decision. I think so.
Yeah.
So I want to know why did you decide and how did you decide? Yeah.
Well, I vacationed in Japan. A
Okay.
friend invited me.
Oh, vacation. Okay.
And so I had my first experience in Japan.
You came Japan for the first time.
For the first
Yeah,
time.
Okay.
I went to Shigaken, Omihachima.
Shiga Prefecture.
Hello, Omihachima.
Omihachima. Yeah.
Maybe a small town, but my friend lived there.
Yeah.
And she invited us. And this experience was very new for me. And I really can't explain the feeling that I had in Japan, but it felt almost like coming home. It felt peaceful, and I felt like maybe the Japanese culture is more familiar for me, or I felt more comfortable in Japanese culture even than American culture.
Okay.
I think a lot about how to fit in with other people, sometimes too much. I want to make people happy, and I want to make a peaceful surroundings. So in Japan, this was easier for me. When I came home, for the first time in my life, I could sense that I had a dream.
Oh, you had a dream?
I am not the kind of person who has a clear focus. I usually don't know what I want.
Okay.
But for the first time, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to live in Japan.
Okay.
So I started seeking a way to live in Japan.
Yeah, okay.
I started applying for jobs. I began to learn Japanese and study on my own.
see.
And Rakuten, with its Englishnization, they wanted people who did not have Japanese skill.
Yeah.
So it was an easy path to move to Japan.
Yeah.
So I began interviewing, and it happened very fast.
Oh, I see. But this episode is very spiritual episode.
Oh, maybe so. If you talk to me, I will bring a little spiritual.
But you write code. Coding process is very logical process and not spiritual process. You are
right.
it's very interesting for me.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, and you decide, but I think it's very difficult for you to prepare for coming Japan.
Yes.
Yes.
I think you're absolutely right.
Okay.
If you have not lived in Japan,
Okay.
I think there is no amount of television or books
Okay.
or study that can truly prepare you for living in Japan.
Okay.
Vacationing is not like working in Japan.
Okay.
Retiring is not like working in Japan.
Yeah.
It's still a very good experience, but if anyone wants to move to Japan, I have some lessons that I learned that were some of them very hard lessons to learn. So maybe we'll talk about that in a little while.
Yeah. It's a difference from Japanese culture and American culture.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to come to Japan, probably they love Japanese culture. And maybe they have learned something about Japanese art or history or the language.
Okay.
Japan is a land of beauty. It's maybe the most beautiful country I've ever visited. In the language, the people, the fashion, the land, the nature, all of it, we are surrounded by beauty.
I see.
So there are great things about living in Japan, and the culture is one of those great things.
I see.
But if you move to Japan
Okay.
and you think you might live in Japan for a short time,
Okay.
1 year, 2 years,
1 or 2 years.
then you may be making a mistake. You may not realize that you will make very close friends, and when you leave, it will be very, very painful to have to say goodbye. It's very difficult to have a long distance relationship with
Okay.
friends in Japan.
Yeah.
The time is exactly reversed.
Yes.
Japanese people are very busy.
Yeah.
You will not be able to maintain
Yeah,
a
I
good
think
friendship.
So. Yes. Yes.
And saying goodbye is very hard. So
I
I
think
think
so.
if you want to live in Japan, plan to live for a long time in
for
Japan.
long, it's the best choice. How long it is necessary to stay? 3, 5,
Forever.
or forever? Forever.
If you
Yeah.
can, try to live forever in Japan. 1 year is too short.
Yeah.
And I only lived for 1 year, so I can't say if 5 years is okay.
Yes,
But
yes.
my dream was to live here forever.
Yeah.
And then I had to return to
But
America.
if you come to Japan and you can live in Japan forever, you miss you in Atlanta people. In Atlanta, no?
That's true. There's always
How
a
do you
cost.
solve this problem? I want to know. It's the same problem for me. I think.
Kashina. Yeah. Maybe the answer is get rich and have a private jet.
Private jet.
And fly all
It's
the-
very difficult to get.
That's true. That's true. I have many friends and family in America, but
Okay.
you know, family, you can count on family forever.
Okay.
You can go back to America to your family,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if it's truly family, then you will still have them. Friendships require effort and time and communication.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's not quite the same as family.
Yes.
So maybe you just have to choose which culture you want to make your own. Where do you want to be home?
Yeah. It's very difficult problem. It is because people can go around everywhere in the world. Maybe 100 years ago, maybe 100 years ago, it's very difficult to go around everywhere in the world.
So-
But it's very convenient. We can take a plane. For example, LCC airplane.
Right,
Yeah, it's
right.
very cheap and it's very fast to go around the world.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yes.
Yeah. So maybe in our modern society,
Yes.
we have pros and cons. You know, the pro, we can go to Japan very quickly.
Yeah.
The con, it's the same problem, right?
Exactly. Okay. So, John, after you worked in Rakuten about 1 year, maybe you went back to Atlanta. Why did you decide to go back to Atlanta for a while? You love Japan, I know.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. In fact, my original plan was live in Japan for at least 5 years.
Okay.
And
5
then
years.
renew the visa
Yeah.
and do it again. But when I was planning to move to Japan, my girlfriend at the time
I see.
was going to come with me, but that fell apart.
Okay.
It did not work.
Okay.
So she stayed in America and I came to Japan, but we maintained a long distance relationship. It's very difficult.
Yeah, I think so too.
After 1 year, two things happened. I had some family troubles in
Okay,
America,
okay.
and I wanted to return to help my
Okay.
sister. That I could have done temporarily. Return, help my sister for a month
Okay.
or two, and then come back. But the second thing
Okay.
was my girlfriend said, I can't continue, and I want you to come home.
She missed you.
She missed
Yeah.
me, and long distance was very difficult.
Yeah.
And as you can see, I talk with my hands, so you can see I have the ring on my finger now.
Yeah.
So I went home. I tell everyone
Okay.
it was very difficult decision,
Okay.
very easy decision
Okay.
at the same time.
Okay.
I returned for love, and we got married, and now we're back, and my girlfriend is my wife, and she is here with me.
Yeah.
So everything turned out okay. So I returned for love and for family. I had to do it.
I think it's the best choice. I think so.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Great.
I
Great
knew.
decision, I think.
Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting me, because it was difficult but easy at the same time. I
Yeah.
knew that if I stayed in Japan, I would think I had true love, and I let it go, and I would regret. But if I chose love, maybe I could return to Japan.
Okay.
So I decided to choose love.
Yeah.
Maybe-
Great story. Yeah,
Please
okay.
release this video on Valentine's Day.
Okay. Thank you for your good story, telling me. Yeah. Okay. And John, what do you want to do in the future?
Oh,
I want to know.
Big question.
Yes.
Big question.
Very difficult
It
to answer.
is. I'm at a turning point in my life.
Okay.
I have been running my studio for almost 4 years.
Yes.
We have had only a little success.
Oh, great.
I'm making a little bit of money,
Okay.
but before I started my studio,
Okay.
I was a director of development, and my paycheck was very good.
Okay.
Now I am something of a kept man. I am. My wife makes all of the money, and I make a little money.
Yes, I have experience too. Yeah, when I founded my company 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's an investment. It's like our wives are investing in
Yes.
us, so they believe in us.
Yeah.
But I am getting older,
Okay.
and I'm looking at the future and thinking I need to retire one day. I need to save some money.
Yeah.
And if I want to visit Japan, that's very expensive. So I'm beginning to think maybe I need to find a full-time job again,
Okay.
return to being a company man.
Okay.
So I am applying to some jobs and trying to make a good salary again, but I have an open mind. I am today talking with you and
Yeah.
talking to some other people.
Okay.
I'm exploring what options are there, what new things can I do.
Okay.
Maybe the future of coding is not very bright, because
Oh, really?
AI can write code.
Yeah, ChatGPT is very excellent product, and there are many opportunities. I think so.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
So they call it prompt engineering
Yes.
when you learn to
Yes.
use AI.
Yes.
So I'm investigating AI and learning how to use that and how to create our own models.
yes.
My studio is building some AI tools. So maybe one of my studio's products will become popular, and
Okay.
I will be able to turn that into a business.
Okay.
Or maybe I will go to work for, I'm applying at a company in Japan you might have heard of, Nintendo.
Okay. How do you think about going back to Rakuten company? No.
I love
choice?
Rakuten.
Oh,
I
you
think
love
about
Rakuten?
it.
Yeah.
But I want to explore new options also. So
Okay.
maybe I'll work for Rakuten. That would be a good company. Mikitani-san has a good vision. Maybe I'll work for Nintendo, or maybe something new will come up. Maybe today I will discover something that I can't predict.
I see. Why do you want to work in Nintendo company, for example? I want to know. Why do you love Nintendo?
Oh, well, Nintendo is the godfather of video games.
Yeah.
So everyone knows that Nintendo, at least Nintendo of America,
Okay.
is supposed to be a very good company to work for. Good benefits, good culture, smart people.
Okay.
I've been a business owner for almost 4 years, and the difficulty is if you are the only person at the company,
Okay.
then there's no one to learn from. And so maybe you stagnate, you become, you plateau. your skills don't increase.
Oh, I see.
So when I worked at other big companies, there were always smarter people.
Yeah, I think so too.
And you can learn from smarter
Yes,
people and
yes,
grow
yes,
and grow.
yes. After I sold my company to Japanese listed company, I could learn a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, big company has very, very talented people.
Exactly.
Yes. When I started my company 10 years ago by myself, only me, it's very difficult to learn.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Exactly right. And I told you about being 9 years old and curious, wanting to learn. And the teacher came to me and gave me a door.
Yeah.
When I work for myself, I'm still curious. My heart is still curious,
Yes.
but learning is much more. There's no teacher now, only the internet.
yeah.
So self-teaching is a good quality,
Yes.
but it's also good to learn from smarter people.
It's very difficult for maybe all people to learn by myself. Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's slower. Teaching yourself is a little slower.
Yes.
If I am learning Japanese and I say something wrong, I don't know that I said it wrong.
Yeah.
I need you to say, oh, yeah, so I need to have a teacher. It's you can learn much quicker if you have someone guiding you.
Yeah. Okay. John, how do you search when you want to new job? For example, if you want to learn, if you want to work in Nintendo, or where do you watch?
I
want
see.
to know. Yeah.
I see. I have two methods. My first method I have abandoned. I don't do it anymore.
I see.
First method was, what can I do?
What can I do?
I can
Okay.
do project management, software directing, team leadership,
Okay.
So forth. So first, I began looking for jobs that use these skills, and I found many, many jobs,
Okay.
but they looked boring to me. They
Boring.
didn't.
Okay.
I wasn't excited.
Okay.
I thought I can do this, but do
Okay.
I want to do this?
Okay.
And so then I developed this second method. And instead of saying, what can I do? I asked myself, what do I want?
Okay.
What kind of life do I want?
Okay.
And that was very different answers. What kind of life? Well, I want to make good money.
Okay.
I want to be able to travel. I want to learn from people. I want to explore new topics, new types of work.
Okay.
So when I decided I wanted to, what kind of life I wanted, I began looking for jobs that would allow me to have this kind of life. And it's many less jobs like that.
Okay.
But they are all exciting to me. And when I apply for some of those jobs, I've been rejected, which is a good sign.
Okay.
I am stretching. I'm trying to do something new.
Yeah, I think so too.
So
Yeah.
this is my new method. I think about what would be exciting for me, and I go find a job that would give me the life that I want.
Okay.
I could tell you some websites that I use, but maybe you those websites should sponsor you if we're going to say their name. So I won't say any specific websites, but there are lots and lots of jobs out there for
But
programmers.
no problem. I want to know, for example, on LinkedIn or only Google search only, or you go to directory to company that you want to work.
All of the above. First I tried LinkedIn. I think that's a pretty good resource.
I think so too. Yeah.
Indeed.com is pretty good.
Yeah.
And there's Indeed in Japan.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a Japanese job, Indeed is probably a good way to check.
Japanese company Recruit.
Recruit.
Yes.
Did they buy?
Did M&A.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
A big deal. Very, very big deal.
Oh,
yes.
nice.
Yes.
What else? And maybe there are some famous big companies. When I asked myself what kind of life I wanted, it became obvious. I want to work at a big company.
Okay.
Because I want good benefits, big paycheck.
Yeah.
That's a big company.
Yeah, exactly.
So I started thinking about famous companies, Rakuten, Nintendo, and so forth. And I went to their website and look for careers.
Okay.
And just began applying for many careers. One tip, make a new resume for every job.
Okay.
If you are applying for a manager job, look at your resume. Does it look like a manager or a programmer or a teacher? Or if you want to be a programmer, have a programmer resume. If you want to be a teacher, have a teacher resume. It says the same things,
Okay.
but with different focus.
Okay.
If you want to teach and you had a job as a programmer, explain how your job made you a better teacher and the ways you taught people when you were a programmer. Maybe a junior developer asked
Okay.
you for help and you taught a junior developer.
Okay.
So you can tell this person that is looking at your resume not just your history, not just your biography,
Okay.
but your skills, and convince them, oh, this is a good teacher, or this is a good leader,
Yeah.
this is a good programmer.
Yeah.
Same jobs,
Yes.
but different skills.
Yes, and recruiters don't read all information. I think
Oh, that's
so.
right, they
It's very,
skim.
yes.
Yeah.
Many candidates apply to the jobs. Maybe a big company can get some many applicants.
Very much
Yes.
so. That's right. Hundreds sometimes.
Yes,
That's
yes.
If you apply for a big company, when you are rejected,
Yes.
don't be hurt. Just keep going.
Yes,
It's not
yes,
personal.
Yes, I think so too. It's very similar process to build some new business.
Yeah.
And sales process.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
really?
Yes, I think so.
Many rejections.
Yes,
but it's not
many,
personal.
I had many rejection, but we achieved some fact in numbers. Some people listen to my opinion or what I think about.
Yeah, because you can prove it.
Yes.
Look at the
exactly.
numbers.
Exactly. Thank you for telling me how you find your job. Yeah. I'm. But last question. I want to know, John, you want to work in Japan or in America? You find some job in America or in Japan?
Do you mean have I found one already?
No. You search in Japan or in America.
Oh, I see.
Where do you work?
Oh,
Yes.
right now I am searching only America,
Okay.
but West Coast.
Okay.
Because I know two things. I want to have a good job,
Yeah.
and I want to come to Japan
Yeah.
often.
Yes.
So there are some different ways I can do that. I can live in Japan and work in Japan, or I can have a very good job in America and be close to Japan so that the airfare
Yes.
is cheap for me.
Yes. Zip air is very easy and cheap
Right.
from Japan to SF, San Francisco.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Nintendo of America is in Washington.
Yes.
It's pretty close.
Yes.
It's closer than
Yes,
Atlanta.
Atlanta is a little,
Oh, that's
far from Japan. I think so.
How long did it take you to get home from
About
Atlanta?
15 hours from Atlanta to Tokyo.
That's 2 full-time job
yeah.
shifts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's difficult.
Exactly. So I had a terrible jet lag.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it is more convenient from San Francisco to Japan. Yeah, it's easy, and we can take a zip air flight, cheap price flight. Yeah, it's a good idea. I think so.
So that's what I'm doing now. I'm looking at jobs on the West Coast,
Okay.
which is good for me because I'm in tech, and there's a lot of tech jobs on the West Coast.
Yes.
And I should say, my tips for finding a job, they are good for someone who already has a job. If you already have a job, it's easier to look for a new job. If you don't have a job, you need to get a job very fast.
Yes,
so
yes,
it's maybe different tips for those people.
Yeah, I think so. Next, we have meeting. Let's try to in West Coast. Yeah,
Let's do it.
yeah.
I'll meet you there.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for today. I was very fun to talk with you.
Always.
Finally, do you have some you want to talk to audience?
Who is the audience? Are these Japanese people?
Yeah.
Is it American people?
Japanese people. Japanese people who want to work abroad. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's-
Okay.
Yeah.
There are many things that you can learn quickly.
Okay.
You can learn a poem or song lyrics
Okay.
or something very quickly, or you can learn math very quickly. But there are some things that you can only learn with time.
Okay.
For example, body things like learning to skateboard. You will not learn to skateboard with your mind. You learn to skateboard with your body. I think language is a little bit of both. You can learn things quickly, but you must practice many, many times
Yeah.
for it to become natural.
Yes.
If you are trying to talk to someone, like when I tried to speak Japanese,
Yeah.
it's all up here. It's not natural yet, and so I'm very slow. So if you want to live in America, if you want to, really this is true for anyone, anywhere. If you want to go somewhere where they don't speak your native language, please find every chance to get out of your comfortable place.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to fail. Always keep practicing. Only if you keep practicing will it become natural. It starts here, but it does not end here. It must end here. It must become natural.
Yeah, thank you for your good advice, and I'm very lucky to meet you. It is because I could many opportunities to have conversation with John, and I improved my English a little, and I passed MBA program. Thank you. So let's try to don't stay comfortable zone.
Yes.
Let's try.
Let's try.
Yeah. Thank you for the see ya.
Thanks everyone. Thank you, Shota.
Thank you.